across the sea of character sheets, deep in the forest of D20s lies the mountain of source books.
Welcome to the Mountain of Source Books. We hope you enjoyed your climb. My name is Jeffrey Vincent Dale, and I got two guests today. I got Rose here.
Hi.
And I got Steve.
Hello.
All right, it's been a long time since we recorded actual gameplay.
Way too long.
A long time.
Oh, lots of stuff gets in the way. Hopefully that should stop now.
Yeah, hopefully. All right, so we are playing Microscope. We're just going to dive right in. We'll start with the big picture. So we're going to work together to brainstorm a one-sentence overview of the history we want to play.
So it's just like the general overview and then we bookend it?
It's sort of setting an expectation of what we're going to be doing overall.
Okay.
Like the kind of the theme, like if it's meant like fantasy,
Yes.
sci-fi, political intrigue.
Here are the sample ones that they give in the book. An ancient empire rises and falls. Cavemen at the dawn of time form the first civilization, and mankind leaves the sick earth behind and spreads out to the stars. So those are three separate examples. So, general one-sentence summary of the whole thing we're going to be doing. So I imagine this will take some discussion before we settle on something.
Yes.
I was hoping for something more fantasy-ish.
You know, I would enjoy something fantasy.
All right, that sounds good to me.
What could we focus on? A lot of fantasy stuff usually ends up being like a war or something. Like I would like to veer away from that.
Maybe it could be some crisis related to magic.
Okay, something kind of crisis.
What if it's something just like magic has like come back after thousands of years?
Okay, that could work.
Like the gods have released magic back into the land.
Yeah, in a weird way, a little bit like what they do with Shadowrun, except not, pasted on top of like Cyberpunk 2020. Kind of like that.
I was going to say, because that's just what gets the big picture.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't need to be a little bit more detailed. I think that kind of fits the rise and fall of a...
Yeah, so basically like the return of magic, and that's really like the focal point, and then where we begin and end it is dependent on the kind of events that occur, because I believe that's how we're supposed to set that, right?
Well, there's three more things we need to do before we start doing taking the turns.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we want to... Magic returns to the world.
That could work. Magic is restored to the world by the gods. Something.
Okay.
A little bit more detail.
All right, so we got our big picture. On to step 2, bookend history. Your history will be divided into periods. Each period is a very large chunk of time, probably decades or centuries. Describe how your history begins and ends.
So we're doing like 2 points at the beginning of the story and the end of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're agreeing on a short description for each period. We have 2 periods, the beginning period and the ending period. Paragraph at most for each one.
Question, because this would definitely determine what happens at the end of this. Is this Earth, or is this like a completely different setting?
I was thinking fantasy.
Okay, completely.
Yeah, we'll do a different setting, I think.
Setting. I'm thinking like there's gods.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, maybe there was magic, and the gods took it away.
Yep, because the reason I asked that question, because it would be like the obvious end would be, well, magic goes back away again because it's not here now.
Gotcha.
And then we need to for each period, we need to decide whether or not it was a light period or a dark period in history. So happy or tragic.
Kind of like the idea that the gods plant a seed that grows into whatever magical source it is.
Ooh.
Which, in the concept of a tree would probably be the case. But, I mean, with mythology, it could be literally anything.
I like this idea of like planting a tree. What if, as the tree grows, magic becomes more powerful?
Ooh, that's cool. So yeah, and then like you have to reach period, everyone just gets stronger and stronger.
And what does the fruit do?
Hmm.
Don't answer that, but
We don't know yet. No one has eaten it.
yes.
Yeah, something to consider as we go deeper into things later on.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
At this point, are we just kind of saying like basic things? So we have to trying to get a little bit more into it. Like, with this, people are now starting. They don't really know what they could do yet, so they're trying anything.
As long as it stays within a paragraph and doesn't go too detailed, we should be good.
Ooh, here's one for the ending.
Well, we should decide on a tone too for the.
Oh, yeah,
start.
tone.
Oh yeah,
That sounds very light. That does not sound dark at all, because...
I would say this should be light. I mean, we could make it dark since they don't know what they're doing, it just causes
yeah.
bad destruction. But I think we should keep this light. Magic is back.
Because I actually have, for the end, I have a good one that I really like that is also very light. Like, not even just this tree. One of the offspring of the tree uproots itself to find another, like, world to live.
Hmm.
So it's like, technically, it's not the end. It's like, in terms of you wrote this as a book, it would be like, and then there's an entire new book that starts over that's like the exact opposite of like the start of this one, sort of thing.
It's like the offspring sentient. As a matter, like like it just blows away by the space wind. I don't know.
Like the little puffball seeds that like
Yes.
yeah, oh that's adorable.
Blow away and find new planets.
It obviously gets eaten by a space whale.
Yes. I was like thinking the ending would be. I kind of like this one, but my original thought was like after this, like it ends but like mankind. So some hero cuts down the tree to save the world from the magic is so strong. Someone has
I
to
like
go
that
and
too.
destroy the tree.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we could do both. Like he cuts down the tree, and then afterwards, one of the seeds flies off.
So it's like it ends the period of this world, but there's just like there's functionally the concept there's hope left, but
Yes.
elsewhere.
Yeah, the magic continues.
I kind of like that.
I do like how instead of doing like which are we gonna pick? We just like, we'll do both.
But now I don't know if this is a light or a dark.
That is a tough question. Because it's dark for some people and it's light for others, because we know there's a reason for it. They were a hero. The word the hero was used. It's not like an ironic use of the word. So it's like that was a good thing, and then it's a positive thing that not everything is gone. But if this was so bad, then it's just going to start a new cycle of suffering. So
Yeah.
like you could go either way with that.
Yeah, I think maybe we should probably classify it as dark, in that like a dark period led to the hero cutting down the tree.
Maybe this is I was gonna say maybe this is light, but the period right before it is dark. Like he's saving the world. Who knows how long the story is? Maybe it takes 1,000,000 years before it goes from seed to world ending destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you two think? Light, dark?
We'll say light, with the potential that the next period outside of our timeline could be light or dark, depending on how that goes.
It's like the idea magic is not inherently evil. It depends on who uses it, unfortunately. most people can't be trusted with anything.
Yeah. Okay, I wrote light.
Okey-doke. Ooh, colors.
Yeah, I am like, is that too bright?
I kind of like it.
And then we can just pick a different color for
Yeah.
dark, and then we'll be able to tell by the color.
Purple.
That works.
All right. So we've got our bookended history. So we know that everything has to fall within the lifetime of that first tree. So step 3, the palette. So we're going to ban or add ingredients to the palette. Palette is a list of things the players agree to reserve the right to include or conversely outright ban. It gets everyone on the same page about what belongs in the history and what doesn't.
And very specifically, the stuff that you put in the yes column does not have to be in any individual point. The stuff that's in the no column, this cannot be in this game, period.
Yeah, so like if there's anything that you'd be uncomfortable with, you put that on the ban list. Or even if you just think, I've heard that story too many times, I'm kind of bored of it, let's do something different. So that would be the ban list, and then the yes column is, I know we wouldn't typically put something like this in a story like this, but I like the idea and I want to explore it.
You want to go first?
Yeah, well, I'll make the 2 columns first. We'll put it before start and end because that'll be the actual
Okay.
timeline.
I was trying to find what column to add. I see it now.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, so we'll each pick one thing to put in either the yes or no column. We'll take turns, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, we'll keep going until one of us runs out of ideas for things we do or don't want. We have to do at least one each, and then if we want to, we can keep going.
I'm just think of like stuff I don't want.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to do if you're just like, this is in every fantasy, I don't want this.
Mm-hmm. We'll do. I would rather not have any Hercules-esque half gods.
Okay, so we have gods, but no half gods.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Alright, I guess I'll go next. I like the idea that there are fairies that tend to the tree.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I was thinking, he was like, you don't have to use this, but at some point, there might be some kind of caught a religion that's kind of going, like, they're worshipping the trees and not the god itself.
Oh, so there's like kind of like probably some godly envy because that has like at least the Greek gods would definitely have a problem with that.
Yes. And I mean, we already know from the basic study the god will punish them by at least taking away magic.
Yeah, that's true. They did it earlier, and they're like, "Okay, you can have some back as a treat." Wait, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, I like that idea. It gives me an idea for something later on, but that doesn't really fit into this step, so I'll hold on to that idea. All right, my turn again. So,
You want me to go first? We can also like go backwards like each time. Since I went last the first round, I'll go first the second round.
okay.
Yeah. Let's say no, like even though this could do a bunch of different magic, there's no kind of mind control.
That's nice. I like that. That gets into weird territories, and it's always
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Yeah, so I like that. All right. Problem is thinking of no stuff for me is like, well, I mean, there's not a lot in fantasy stuff that I'm not like fond of. Actually, I think I'm not saying like none at all, but like no advanced technology.
Okay.
All right. How about the magic? Maybe some of the wildlife is eating the fruit from the magic tree, and it's affecting their growth and changing how they
Okay,
are.
that's neat.
Okay. I think that's a good thing.
That's actually a pretty neat way for the concept of magical variation in animals and stuff like that.
Yeah. I like that.
And then I'm out of ideas now. So So I guess we'll call an end to that step.
I mean, we don't have to have like super complex stuff. We can kind of work with what we need.
And then we're going to do the first pass. The group decisions are now over for the rest of the game. Each player makes decisions individually and has vast power to shape history. Each player now gets to add more detail to the history, creating either a new period or event. Players can go in any order they want. To add a period, place it between any two adjacent periods, then give a short description of what happens during that time and say if the tone is light or dark. So basically what we did with start and end, but we're just going to be taking turns putting stuff in between start and end.
Okay.
And then we just got to keep them in chronological order. So a period is the largest subdivision of the history. It is a very large chunk of time, usually decades or centuries. Decide when it is, describe the period, and say whether light or dark.
Period is a large chunk of time. An event is something specific that happened during a period.
I would prefer not to go first, although if nobody else has any ideas, I can.
I think I could go first, but I kind of want to begin at the end, which I think is allowed in this game.
You can do that. There's nothing wrong with starting like exactly towards the end, and then we can put stuff before that afterwards.
Yeah, as long as we keep everything in chronological order as we're adding it, we're good.
Okay. So I am going to do a period. I'm going to call it like the period of destruction. I don't know if that's the right word. This is right before the time frame before the tree is cut down at the end. Oh, I guess
Yeah, like the
tree.
reason the tree is cut down.
Yes. So the tree has protected itself by like a huge like fiery hurricane that's constantly surrounding it. Due to all the people trying to like abuse it, and like the gods are mad at it, and people have been like, there's like so much magic that it's, I guess, like just a constant like hurricane, fire, lightning. The animals that have been eating the fruit, like there's more and more fruit falling from the trees and more powerful, so the animals around it have turned into like huge beasts that are like protecting it.
Okay.
And magic is kind of just now so strong and prevalent throughout the world that like anyone could do like super destructive spells or super advanced magic, and like it's just chaos. And this is a dark time.
That does sound very dark.
Yes.
Should I like be saying anything more about this?
We're each going to only do one, and then we're going to move into like the rest of the gameplay, because this is still the beginning of the game.
The beginning, okay.
All right. And then I would like to go next, if that's all right with everybody. All right, so I'm going to add a new period. So the scholars of the various kingdoms begin researching ways to use the juice of the fruit of the tree to imbue items with magical properties.
I actually really like this very specifically because I was wondering how this hero is going to find a way of cutting down this tree, because this tree has to be big.
Oh, it's huge, yeah, at the end.
And we'll say this is a light period.
I think before that happened, what's like the word of autumnal for spring? I'm trying to figure that out.
Venom, Vernal, let's see.
There we go. So a period of civilization, the tree has grown so big that a city is built nestled in its roots under the Temple of Spring. This is a locus for vernal magic, which is as a concept involving plants, thus turning in turn causes the tree to flourish. I'll reword that somehow, but yeah. So not only has civilization flourished literally underneath the tree, but it's also causing the tree to grow in itself.
Okay.
Bad feedback loop, probably. But it seems like a good idea at the time. So I don't know if we want to make that light or dark.
I think that's light, because in the time it seems good.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
could have kept being good, maybe.
Just
I think the issue is, no one pruned this tree.
All right, so that's the end of our first pass. That's it for this week. Please join us again on July 25th when we will continue playing Microscope and move into the first lens phase. Thank you for joining us. Be careful on your way back down the mountain.